Reason why we're unhappy in our daily being is because we are distant from the present moment. We're distracted from the present moment. We're not allowing ourselves to anchor into this very moment, my dear friend. So let's pull you back into the present moment and get you re-engaged into life's aliveness, vitality, present gift that we were given. Today is a great day to have a great day. And I'm not trying to be all happy-go-lucky, but listen, like, you have a choice to make. Either live in the past, live in the future, or live in this moment with me today. What is up, my dear friends, and welcome back to another episode of Honey, I'm Home. I am your host, Tyler Joe Stratton, and today we are going to be diving into a secret gem to life, which is ultimately going to help you to experience a greater quality of life. Today is inspired by a book and a client. Today is inspired by the quality of life that we get to choose to live or not. So if you're struggling because you feel stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, alone, worried, frustrated, sad, this podcast episode is going to be what sets you free today and every day moving forward, because this is the secret to living a greater quality of life, because I'm going to help you anchor yourself to the present moment. I know that you might not think that sounds super cool and sexy, but I'm telling you that there's a reason why the present moment is called a present, is because it's a gift, and you are missing out on a gift of life if you are finding yourself alone or sad, frustrated, overwhelmed, worried, fearful, or scared. If you're not feeling fulfilled and happy, it's because you have not allowed yourself to connect to the present moment long enough in order for you to engage in the gift of life. And so I'm going to help you anchor to that. So stick around to the very end, because I'm going to give you 4 solutions that are going to help you to re-anchor yourself to the present moment. And what a beautiful gift that's going to be. Also, before we dive into that, we're also going to be talking about an excerpt that I'd love to share from one of my favorite books of all time and from my favorite author of all time, Brendon Burchard. I wish these words were my own words, but they're not. But I know that they're going to fuel you with the same belief and thought process that helped me to structure today's podcast episode. But before we dive into today's episode and I give you the 4 solutions to helping you generate a greater fulfillment in your life, home, and relationships, my dear friends, if you've been here for a while, thank you for being here. And I hope that this podcast is serving you, your heart, and your home, and helping you to evolve into a greater version of yourself with more peace, fulfillment, happiness, and abundance in your life. Honey, I'm Home is a podcast that's supposed to help equip you to become the individual that you need to be in order to perform better in your heart, in your home, and help you to become a heart-driven leader that your kids, your family, your future wife, husband, and coworkers need you to be, so that you can evolve into a better version of yourself and they can evolve in a better version of themselves. But before we dive into today's episode, my friend, I ask that you take a moment to hit pause. Go into your phone or wherever you listen to the podcast at, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the podcast, because that is the very thing that's going to help this podcast reach more hearts and more homes. And if you haven't done anything good for someone else today or this week, this is your opportunity to give away something for free. Listen, one of the secrets to my own happiness is to give happiness away. What I seek is seeking me, and what I give away comes back to me tenfold. So when I give someone more joy, more happiness, more fun, more fulfillment, I feel those things indirectly. It's a selfish act in a non-selfish way, meaning that when I have fun, joke fun, tell a joke, make other people smile, laugh, feel something a little bit different than what they were experiencing, it helps me to feel something greater too. When I give good away, I get good back. And I'm asking you, hey, if you want more good in your life, once again, one thing that you could do is give more good away. And how can you do that? One of the ways out of the 100 million different ways in which you can give good is to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the podcast at, because that, like I said, my dear friend, is what's going to help this podcast reach higher levels, more hearts, and more homes, and change more lives. Now, on to today's episode, my dear friends, as we talk about how we can begin to meet life with a more full presence and power, so that we can take control of our minds and our present moment. My dear friend, I want to start off today's episode with a quote that says, "Your true home is in the here and the now." So many times we get lost in all of the distractions of life. So many times we oftentimes go home feeling more fatigued, more stressed, more sad, more uncertain, more worried, more anxious, more fearful, and more scared. We enter the day with the same emotions and we leave the day with the same emotions. Listen, If you are living in fear, anxiety, worry, uncertainty, stress, it's because your focus is tied to the past or to the future. It's not anchored to the very present moment that you've been gifted. I believe that you have been gifted and won the greatest lottery of all. You've been gifted a beautiful life. And although maybe the life story hasn't planned out to be the way that you kind of foresee it to play out, you're still gifted this life. And this life has so much meaning. You know, I read an excerpt that basically said something like this, and it was powerful, it was moving, and it was encouraging for me to step into the present moment to allow myself to enjoy more of this life that I was given. It said, it started with a question that said, would you take $1 billion? And it caught my attention. I was like, who? Yeah, who wouldn't? I probably would. But the catch is that you would pass away tomorrow. Would you still take the $1 billion? And maybe some of you would say yes, but it got me to think, would I take $1 billion if I were to lose my life tomorrow? I said no, I wouldn't. And then it got me to think, why? Well, my first thought was this. I wouldn't take the $1 billion because I think life is worth more than $1 billion. And if I think tomorrow is worth more than $1 billion, then why don't I treat today like it's worth $1 billion? What's stopping me from being able to feel like $1 billion? Well, came out with a list of multiple different things that stop me from being able to experience a greater quality of life, or to feel like I'm worth $1 billion, or to make life equal to $1 billion. And what I've realized was, to summarize it, is that if you want to strip away your quality of life and miss out on life and miss out on all the beauty that life has to offer, stay in the past or focus in the future. Because those two things will oftentimes distract you from the very moment, from the very present moment that we have been gifted. So I'm asking you today to anchor yourself back to the present moment, to allow yourself to anchor yourself back to this very moment in the power of now, because in the now is where everything happens. If you feel like your thoughts are controlling you, it's because you're too far in the future or too far in the past. You're not back here. If you're struggling to overcome your thoughts, overcome your emotions, work through those things, it's because you're too far in the past or too far in the future. If you want to learn how to control your thoughts, if you want to tap into a greater level of peace, then you need to come to the present moment with me. And I'm going to give you the 4 solutions to helping you anchor yourself to the present moment that I have adopted into my own life and which you can adopt into your own. And this, honestly, this whole conversation comes from 2 things. The first thing was a client that I was talking to this morning. And then secondly, on a book that I'm currently reading. Like, this is my 5th time reading it. And I want to start off with the conversation. I want to pull you into the conversation I had with a client. And that client was talking to me today about the future. And the future that he was sharing with me was a future that I would hope unto no one. And he felt all of the pain, frustration, sadness, overwhelm, angst, and stress from painting a deluded, disempowering future for himself. I said, hey, buddy, come here. Talk to me today about today. Let's not look so far into tomorrow that we lose the day. Let's not get so stuck in the past that we forget about where we are right now. Let us begin to not create a disempowering hopeless future that stops us from being able to experience a greater fulfillment, happiness, purpose, and vitality in this very moment. So many people lose on life because they lose the power of the moment. So to paint you a brighter picture of what I'm talking about, I want to share an excerpt out of one of my favorite books called The Motivation Manifesto. It's a book by Brendon Burchard. As you can see, I have so many different notes in it. It's all highlighted, it's sticky noted, it has notes in it. And this is like one of my go-to books for if I ever feel like a doom and gloom, or if I ever feel like I need more vitality, more aliveness, more motivation in my life. And I want to talk to you today, and I'm going to read it. I wish these words were my words, but nonetheless, it's such a good passage, and it's called The Half Experienced Life. So join me as I read this to you, and then we're going to dive into the 4 solutions that are going to help you to anchor yourself back to the present moment. It says, so much of our lives go unnoticed. We miss the sunrises and sunsets. We don't sense how we're feeling for hours and often days at a time. We didn't see the kind stranger help the elderly man cross the street, and we missed that appreciative smile on our spouse's face. We didn't sense our coworker's desperation because we never paused to look at her in the eye and ask her about her day. Locked indoors and hidden behind machines, we missed the entire season. The winter passed and we didn't play outside in the snow. The spring bloomed and we overlooked the flowers. The summer and the fall passed so quickly, and we didn't remember the trees changing so suddenly or feel satisfied with the time that we got to spend outside. Each day there are a million divine wonders that take place, acts of human kindness and beautiful sights. Yet we are too checked out or busy thinking about yesterday or tomorrow to sense the magic of today. We mustn't be so numb or absent-minded as to allow ourselves to suffer the fate and misery of those choosing a half-interested, half-engaged life. We mustn't stay oblivious to the key moments and circumstances of our lives. There is more pulse and beauty and meaning to be had. With enlightenment comes the realization that the natural foe to life is not a distant death, but a detachment from living in the present moment. Reality is only here now, and we mustn't learn to face it. We must learn to feel it, and we must learn to form it. I share that with you, powerfully share that with you, to help you understand that the reason why we're unhappy in our daily being is because we are distant from the present moment. We're distracted from the present moment. We're not allowing ourselves to anchor into this very moment, my dear friend. So let's pull you back into the present moment and get you re-engaged into life's aliveness, vitality, present gift that we were given. Today is a great day to have a great day. And I'm not trying to be all happy-go-lucky, but listen, like, you have a choice to make. Either live in the past, live in the future, or live in this moment with me today. And so I'm going to give you 4 different solutions that I've implemented into my own life that have helped me to anchor myself to the present moment, that helped me defeat the worrying thoughts of anxiety that bring me anxiety, the sad thoughts that brought me unease and unhappiness, and helped me to reconnect to the very moment, to know that I am here today and there's nothing bad going on. Like, I'm living, I'm breathing, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm positive, I'm wealthy. I got everything going on. And you know what? I still said that even at my lowest, because I was gifted this life, and this life is a gift, and it's a gift for me to experience, and it's a gift for you to experience. It's not for you to just take from yourself. It's for you to experience for yourself. So the first big idea here, if you want to anchor yourself to the present moment, is to disconnect to reconnect. So whenever I think about disconnecting to reconnected, or when I feel disconnected from this very moment, it's oftentimes because I'm too dang connected to all of my digital devices, like my cell phone, my watch, my laptop, my iPad, my video games, my TV, all of those things, my email. The digital life has pulled you away from the present moment. It has casted you into a daze that has stopped you from experiencing a fulfilled quality of life of meaning, a life of purpose, a life of passion. Your digital life and your digital distraction is what's ripping you away from your life's vitality, meaning you feel more fatigued and less energized. If you feel like you're battling brain fog, if you feel like you can't think clearly, or you can't hear your own thoughts, you just feel distracted, you feel like you're in a panic, or like you're overwhelmed, or like you've got too much going on, it's because you're being overstimulated by the digital distractions. So anytime that I feel my life's energy being depleted, it's oftentimes because if I allow myself to take a moment to reflect on why do I feel so depleted, it's because my engagement, my focus is only on the digital distractions and not actually on experiencing this present moment. So your first big idea here is, if you're feeling fatigued, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like you got too much going on, I'm asking you to disconnect from the digital distraction for at least 10 minutes throughout your day, to allow yourself to just be okay with being and doing nothing. Give yourself a moment to just tune in, tune out of all of the digital distraction, and tune in to your own heart and your own mind and your own body and your own breath and your own senses and your own environment. Disconnect to reconnect back to yourself. That's the call to action. Today I ask you to allow yourself to disconnect from all the digital distraction and reconnect to your physical body, the very gift that you've been given, your vessel that holds your spirit within your own self. So that's the first thing, is if you feel like life is kicking you in the butt and you feel fatigued and you feel like another cup of coffee is not going to do you, another Celsius is not going to energize you, another nicotine Zyn is not going to, help you think more clearly, then just disconnect from all of the digital distraction and find this very moment and re-engage into that and give yourself a moment of peace, a moment of reconnect, a moment of quietness and solitude. Oftentimes we feel so fatigued and overwhelmed because we're not allowing ourselves to take daily breaks. Multiple breaks throughout our day, 5 to 10 minutes a piece, to allow ourselves to disconnect from what we were doing, to reconnect back to ourselves, to do a little bodily check-in, which moves me into number 2. If you want to anchor yourself to the present moment because you're too far focused into the future, too far into the past, then you have to tune into your body, your physical being, your vessel. When was the last time that you allowed yourself to disconnect from your digital distractions and reconnect to your body? Just allowing yourself to do a daily check-in. Like, when have you asked yourself, how are you doing? What I oftentimes notice is anytime that I do a bodily check-in, I realize that my jaw right here, if you're watching this on YouTube, is oftentimes locked. It hurts. I oftentimes notice that my shoulders come up near my ears. I oftentimes notice the tension in my back. I oftentimes notice that my posture is poor, and I wonder why I don't feel energized, happy, fulfilled, excited, enthusiastic, checked in. It's because I'm not checking in. If I feel like I am disengaged and detached from my body, I oftentimes feel as though I am not very grounded to the very moment that I need to be in. When your body is feeling sore, when it's feeling tense, when it's feeling tight, it's oftentimes a ask for awareness. When my body feels tense, sore, and tight, it's because I'm not giving it enough intentional attention that it needs for me to be able to relax it. If the only time that you're allowing yourself to experience relaxation in a 24-hour day is within the 4 to 6 hours of sleep that you're getting, don't be surprised when you don't feel like you have a lot of happiness, fulfillment, positive thoughts, or emotions. You need to continue to give yourself 5 to 10 minute breaks throughout the day. Actually, after this podcast, I'm going to go on for a 5-minute walk outside to allow myself to re-engage in the present moment, to degress and distract, or allow myself to step away from the digital conversation that I'm having with you right now. I'm actually going to go for a walk and just allow myself to step away from my cell phone, disconnect from all the digital distractions, and reconnect to my environment. So I need you to just think about it. When you feel totally exhausted and burn out in these moments, I just want you to take a 5 to 10 minute break and tune back into your body and just ask yourself, how am I feeling? How is my body doing? Does it feel strong? Does it feel focused? Does it feel capable of thinking more positively? Sometimes you're going to suffer with negative thoughts because your body's in a negative deficit. You're not feeling good because you're not giving yourself the break needed in order to tune back into your body. Anchoring yourself to where your feet are will help you to experience the present moment in the gift that I like to call life. So regardless of what you're battling out there, you can battle it if you allow yourself to battle it in the present moment. But if you're trying to battle something in the future that has not yet happened, you're going to lose that battle 100% of the time. Stay here with me now. Be where your feet are. Tune into your body. The third anchor to finding the present moment and the gift of life is to tune into nature. I don't know what it's about, but There's something about the calmness of the trees. Right now in the United States, or more importantly here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we have an abundance of trees growing all around us. It's just a massive foresty area, just massive green trees that just overlay the landscape in the background of our just daily experience of life and what we see. And I love tuning into the trees because there's a stillness to each tree that I see. And I ask myself, can I be that still? Can I absorb the energy of that tree like I absorb the energy of the emotions that each coworker or each individual that I bypass on the street brings to me? I'm pretty in tune with the emotional energy that people bring into my life, but I can also be emotionally in tune with all of the emotional energy that nature brings into my life. Which nature, there's balance. Nature, there's abundance. Nature, there's healing. And oftentimes my day is consumed by all of the digital distractions that I just talked about. I spend anywhere from 12 to 14 hours to up to 16 hours a day behind a screen. My eyes are absolutely shredded. My mind is depleted. My body is tense and tight because I'm sitting all day. Because in my line of work, according to Google, I'm an influencer, I'm a writer, I'm an author, I'm a coach, I'm a director of strategy at One Team Media, I'm a husband, I'm a lot of things. But a lot of those things require me to be online, connected on a digital space, looking at a screen. And what I allow myself to do, which is action step number 3, is just allow myself to take a break and take a breather and to go outside, to allow myself to put down the digital distractions and to feel the air touch my skin, to feel the sunlight touch my skin, to allow myself to breathe in high quality air, to allow myself to listen to the birds and listen to the wind rustle through the grass and the leaves on the trees. I allow myself to just tune in for a moment, to allow myself to experience the healing and the peace that nature really has to offer us. I believe if you look into the healing of nature, you can find a lot of peace in nature. And I'm asking you to just allow yourself to go out on a walk, a 5 to 10 minute walk today, to allow yourself to just kind of separate yourself from all of the angst of the tomorrow, all of the depression of the past, all of the scarce of the future, and to just reconnect where you're at. Allow yourself to enjoy your environment. That's what's going to help you to be able to find more peace in this very present moment. And the last big anchor that I want to express to you is the power of your breath. You see, I believe that we're not always breathing properly. We're not consciously and intentionally breathing and taking deep, freeing breaths. We're breathing, but subconsciously, meaning that we're not aware that we're breathing, and they're short and shallow breaths. Short and shallow breaths often excite the very stress responses in our bodies that cause us more anxiety and more stress. Short and shallow breaths oftentimes shock our bodies into experiencing more stress. So if you want to experience more peace in the very moment that this life has to offer you, you've got to sometimes just anchor yourself to your breath. Allow yourself to experience like 10 deep breaths. Breathing in through your nose for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, releasing for 4 seconds, doing 10 rounds of that. Once again, it's just breathing in, allowing your stomach to be full and filled, and allow yourself to pause in the deep breath and allow yourself to exhale with more release. Oftentimes when I breathe, I'm very intentional about my breath work, I like to use the word release as I release my breath into the world. Just to release whatever it is that I'm going through. It doesn't matter if it's a thought or if it's an emotion or if it's a feeling in the body. I allow myself to say the word release as I breathe out, to just release whatever is no longer serving me. Now, like I said, my friend, I know that this isn't super new to you in the personal development space, but like I say all the time, that common sense isn't always common practice. Therefore, you may know that you should potentially disconnect from all your digital distractions and all of the, overload of stimulation that you're on, but you're not doing it. Maybe you also know that you should tune into your physical body and allow yourself to just do a daily check-in. Hey, how am I feeling? Just for 5 to 10 minutes. Maybe you know that you should actually start to spend more time out in nature and ground your bare feet to the ground and earth and allow nature to just bring you peace and serenity and allow you to bring you calm and allow you to bring you a sense of happiness. But you're not. Maybe you're not always breathing intentionally and allowing yourself to catch your breath or take a big, deep, intentional breath. Listen, you might know these things, but that doesn't mean that you're doing them. And the goal here of the Honey I'm Home podcast is really help you to experience more peace in your heart so you can experience it more in your home and more in your life in general. It's helping you to upgrade your habits so they can serve you to become a better heart-driven leader in your home and within yourself and wherever your life is going to take you and wherever you're going to take your life. Today, I hope that this practice, these 4 practices, can anchor you back to the present moment. I hope that if you found this podcast helpful, supportive, encouraging, and or uplifting, that you share it out. And actually, I would love for you to share it out on your social media and your story and tag me at Tyler Joe Stratton on Instagram, and I'll be sure to share it back out to the world, letting other people know that you're listening. So listen, tag me, share it out, screenshot this episode if you found it helpful, encouraging, supportive, and or uplifting, because that will then go onto my Instagram story and I will share it out with all of the followers, all of the audience, and just tag me at Tyler Joe Stratton, and I will be sure to share it out. And just knowing that you're listening, knowing that you're there is what helps me to continue to produce this podcast and think of new ideas and topics that are helping you to elevate your heart, your home, and your happiness each and every single week. My dear friends, my name is Tyler Joe Stratton, and this is Honey, I'm Home.